Hi, this is Eric Novak, and in this presentation I'll describe our approach to building predictive models in support of direct marketing programs. The basic idea in using a predictive model for a direct mail campaign or outbound telemarketing campaign is to remove prospects from your list who have a very low likelihood of responding to your offer. This has the effect of reducing the acquisition cost per customer and increasing the profitability of the program. Predictive models use regression-based statistics such as discriminant analysis or logistic regression available in statistical packages like SPSS or SAS to calculate the probability that a prospect belongs to a group, for example, buyer or non-buyer. In this equation, Z represents the probability that a prospect is going to respond to your offer, and that is a function of an equation where x1 would be one of the independent predictor variables, x2 is the second, and so on. Typically, these equations may have 100 or more predictor variables. The predictor variables can be things like demographic data, such as the income of the household, or the age of the residents. Those are typically interval or ratio level data. It can also include nominal or categorical level data, such as belonging to an Axiom life stage group, or the type of home. If a residence is a single family home, it would be coded differently than if it was in an apartment or a condominium. In each case, the presence or absence of an attribute would be coded as a 0 or 1 dummy variable. When the discriminant model is run, various outputs are provided, including the percentage of prospects who are correctly assigned what they call a confusion matrix. Another important output is a structure matrix, which shows which variables are correlated most highly, both positively and negatively, with buyer group membership. Because we use the analysis to create lists for direct mail or outbound telemarketing, we're primarily interested in the probability of buying the product or service we're marketing. It's important to build separate models for each product and marketing channel combination. We had the experience a few years ago where a model that was built to support a direct mail campaign was used for an outbound telemarketing effort, and it didn't work very well, even though the product was the same. So after we build this predictive model, what will happen is in SPSS, it writes to every prospect record the probability that they're going to respond to our offer. So what we would do is sort the records from highest probability score to lowest, which would then allow us to convert each decile's average probability score to an average sales rate based on a small pilot campaign or recent mailing history. We can then estimate the number of new buyers that will result from a direct mail drop. In practice, after doing this a number of times, you'll tend to identify segments that tend to be high response segments. So in practice, what a lot of marketers will do is develop direct mail with messages relevant to the concerns and life stage of the members of that particular segment. Predictive models are then used to backfill to get to desired list quantities. What we had found with a lot of retail natural gas and electricity buyers is that retirees and older consumers tend to be more responsive than younger customers or prospects. So where does this data come from? A good deal of it comes from internal records, such as the recency, what they'd call RFM, recency, frequency, and monetary predictor variables. Recency being when the last or most recent purchase that a customer had made. Frequency might be the number of transactions that a customer has made with your company in the last 6 months or last 3 months. And monetary would be the aggregate amount of sales purchases that a customer had made from your business in, again, in a 3-month or 6-month period, or longer. It can be over a number of years as well. And there's nothing to say you couldn't use combinations of these variables. In addition to internal sources of information, there's significant amounts of geodemographic data that can be downloaded for free from government sources such as the Census Bureau or NOAA for weather data. In addition to free data from government and other sources that's available online, you can get household-specific data from list service companies like Axiom or Equifax. Now the difference is the free data tends to be at a higher level, so it would be averages for a zip code or census block tract, whereas firms like Axiom and Equifax would be able to append household-specific data to your records. A lot of that's modeled data, but again, it would be household-specific. Now in the chart at the bottom, we see a comparison of model performance for a model that was built using only free data, which is the census. It was census data, and there are literally hundreds of data elements you can download from the census, as well as NOAA heating degree day information. And what we see is that the models using free data improved marketing efficiency significantly. In this example, sales rates were 150% higher for the top quartile as compared to the average for the whole list. Comparing the bottom to the top quartile, the sales differences were more dramatic. Sales rates are 4 times higher in the zip code model that used free demographic data from the U.S. Census and NOAA degree day data. But by comparison, they're 16 times higher in the model that used household-specific data, specific predictor variables from Axiom. This chart sort of is the flip side of the one we saw in the previous slide. Instead of breaking it down by quartiles, we took a little bit finer cut and broke them into decile tranches. So decile 1 would be the group that had the highest probability of responding to this mailer, and they have a commensurately lower acquisition cost. So in this example, based on our expected overall sales rate, direct mail costs, and I think they were about like 45 cents to 50 cents per piece. Each decile's forecast probability of buying and the lifetime probability of $97. We excluded prospects in the 5th through the 10th deciles in this direct mail drop. And you can see why that would be so. So decile 4 had marginal acquisition cost of $95. Since you're only going to make $97 on that, on customer or prospects in decile 4, you would not mail to any of the prospects in deciles 5 through 10, where the acquisition cost was much higher because their response rate was much lower. Some of the ways we've helped our clients improve the performance of their direct marketing predictive models are by first having, this falls in the category of list hygiene, regularly refreshing the predictor variables on prospects' records. When you have a situation where there's a lot of data in your customer file, but it's unstructured, for example, like in address fields or maybe comment fields, you can use text mining techniques to build predictive models. Come up with additional predictor variables for your models. As mentioned before, building product and channel-specific response models will give you better results than just building a product-specific predictive model. Developing better methods for estimating missing data, for example, regression models, or as an example, using the average of neighbors' home square footage or home age as a proxy when you don't have this information. incorporating summary level credit data, and kind of thinking out of the box for other sources of predictor data that may be free, like NOAA weather data, census data, as we mentioned earlier. Building predictive models to flag customers with a high likelihood of being a write-off risk or quick cancel customers is another best practice, in that you can, after you come up with your original model, you would go and remove those customers that had a high likelihood of being a write-off risk or quick cancel account. Developing, and this is one of the most important takeaways from this presentation, is building models in which the target variable or your target customer is based on lifetime profit contribution rather than just response rate. In addition to the list scoring for predictive models that I discussed in this presentation, some of the other kinds of projects we've done for our clients involve market segmentation, and that can include profitability-based segmentation or segmenting customers based on buyer needs. And that typically involves a survey research project in which we do some cluster analysis to group customers together that had similar motivations for buying your product or service. Another sort of project that we get involved with would be response forecasting, so that you would know after you dropped a direct mail piece how many phone calls you can expect in the weeks following the direct mail drop. Another interesting area of projects we get involved in is design of experiments. For example, trying to determine if a letter would outperform a postcard, if a buy one get one free offer will outperform 10% off or 20% off discount, things like that. In addition to A/B testing, we're getting involved a lot more in multivariate testing, where you may have a dozen different versions, different combinations of offers and creative execution, and you can see which combination, through a carefully designed experiment, which combination of attributes produce the highest response rate. Lastly, we get involved in marketing research, and that would include new product testing as well as loyalty and customer satisfaction studies. So we've done a variety of different kinds of projects in addition to predictive modeling. We've done this work since the 80s for Fortune 500 clients in the home warranties, HVAC, regulated and unregulated retail and natural gas and electric utilities, and companies in the U.S. and Canada, as well as the U.S. federal government more recently. Prior to starting Eric Novak Associates, I was a principal consultant for Zanza North America, and before that a senior manager in Anderson Consulting's business consulting group. I also have 15 years experience managing consumer and business-to-business marketing, analytics, and research functions at electric and gas utilities and the retail affiliates. If you'd like to get a hard copy or a copy of this presentation, it goes into a little bit more detail and has more background examples, just send me an email to Novak, N-O-V-A-K, 633@yahoo.com, or visit our website, ericnovakassociates.com. Thank you.